I'm speaking with Aaron Zagha, Chief Marketing Officer at Newton Baby. Would you be able to tell us a little bit more about Newton Baby?
Number one, it's completely breathable because it has that woven material. Babies can literally breathe straight through the mattress. And the second cool thing about it is because it's made from effectively like yogurt cut material, you can actually wash the inside of the mattress.
Do you have any advice for the business-to-business marketer that's looking to excel in the consumer goods market?
Making sure that you're getting the best return on your spend requires pretty good knowledge of marketing attribution and incrementality, and making sure you have the tools in place to measure those things appropriately is really key.
Hey everybody, thank you for listening today. I'm speaking with Aaron Zagha, Chief Marketing Officer at Newton Baby, a company that is on the mission to provide the whole family with safer, healthier, and better products for rest and play. How's it going, Aaron? It's a pleasure to have you here.
It's going great, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. Can't complain. So, Aaron, now that we finally have you on the podcast, would you be able to tell us a little bit more about your background, your story, something you want to share with us about Newton Baby?
Sure. So my background is a little atypical for the industry. The first half of my career was in investment banking. And then the second half of my career has been in marketing and online e-commerce. So I kind of migrated from one side of the world to the other. But for the past 10 plus years, it's been squarely in e-commerce. So I joined Newton Baby about 7 years ago. The company was a couple of years old at the time. So very early stage. I think I was employee number 2 or 3, basically.
Okay.
And the company had been founded to really bring to market a radically new crib mattress. So unlike all the other crib mattresses on the market, which are just hunks of foam for the most part, our crib mattress is made from material that looks like ramen noodles before you put them in water. We call it woven air. It's patented. But it's very different than anything else on the market. It's made from the same material as a yogurt cup, and it offers 2 very big benefits and differentiators versus the other mattresses. Number one, it's completely breathable because it has that woven material. It's 90% air by volume, so babies can literally breathe straight through the mattress. So it completely eliminates suffocation risk, which is like a big concern for many parents. My daughter's 7 years old. I still check to make sure she's breathing sometimes. It's kind of it's completely breathable, which was very new at the time. Nothing was breathable that was on the market. Now everyone claims to be breathable, mostly due to our success, but nothing really was. And then the second cool thing about it is because it's made from effectively like yogurt cut material, you can actually wash the inside of the mattress. So you can take the cover off, wash it in the machine, and then the inside core you can stick in the tub and hose it down, disinfect it, which is remarkable because babies are disgusting occasionally. Diaper leaks happen. And the fact that no other mattresses where you can actually wash the inside is kind of shocking. You can wash covers that are waterproof, but not the inside of other mattresses. So those were the big differentiators at the time. Like I said, I joined 3 years into the journey. We changed up the marketing mix completely and started growing a lot faster. And over the past, call it 3 to 4 years, really, we've launched a whole slew of new products, mostly still in the baby sleep categories. So bassinets, pack and plays, cribs, but also dog beds and also kid-sized mattresses for when the 2 to 3 year olds start growing out of the crib and get their first big kid bed. And the kids mattresses are the exact same thing. And the nice thing for the kids mattress particularly is about potty training age, and you want to make sure you can wash that mattress. So kids mattresses are totally washable.
I love how you guys are solving 2 very important issues in the toddler market. So it's safety, and that is amazing, making sure babies can breathe and suffocation risk, and also sanitation, because as you said, I had not thought about how few mattresses actually get washed, and it's great that Newton Baby is providing the possibility for this. That's so cool, man.
No.
And tell us a little bit more, Aaron, about yourself and how your philosophy to marketing works, and especially with Newton Baby as the company you're working for.
Yeah, so, my marketing philosophy is really a byproduct of my roots. quantitatively, especially, I'm a pretty quantity person. My original background was finance, with some statistics thrown in. And so the thing I love about online marketing is that almost everything's measurable. Maybe not completely directly, discretely, but you can track and measure just about everything from, clicks on the site to marketing channel effectiveness. And so it's really kind of a nice marriage of the two fields I worked in, which is, really mathematical oriented finance, and then a little bit more creative, but still mathematically oriented marketing and performance marketing, especially. So we do lean probably on the performance side of the world if you believe in kind of how the industry often, bifurcates the marketing world between brand and performance. I don't believe in that. We'll talk about that later. But yeah, that's, our marketing philosophy is really, let's make sure that we're measuring everything that can be measured and take a data-driven approach to marketing in general.
Okay. And how about your team's process from idea to execution, and specifically tailored to the marketing of all of this?
So I run a really flat organization. There's 13, 14 of us on the marketing team at this point. And anyone is encouraged and completely welcome to bring any ideas. We do an offsite every other month, basically, at which everyone has to come with one big new idea, and we kind of move forward with the good ones. So, anyone can come up with ideas. And if it's an idea that makes sense, if it's an idea that we think will work, especially there's a little bit of consensus and a little bit of dictatorship on deciding which of these move forward. But I'm happy to be overruled. And I always tell my team I'm happy to be proven wrong. Like I'll let them things that I don't think will work, with the goal of being proven wrong.
Okay.
But yeah, so then we move through it, and the process is very much test and learn. So I'll test almost anything, so long as we can design a test that we think will succeed, especially from like a statistical significance perspective, for example. And then it either works or it doesn't, and the data shows whatever it shows. And then we'll scale.
And you mentioned that your team is about 13 to 14 people big, but how about when you're looking to expand it or build it out? How do you decide what roles you need to hire for, or who you actually need to come onto the team?
Yeah, this has been a bit of an iterative process. We don't have kind of a traditional team in terms of, it's sort of a hybrid between, centers for excellence and cross-functional training. It's really just kind of grown by necessity. So when my paid social person is maxed out, we'll hire, a junior under her. Or if we have, if we scaled into TikTok, for example, and our creative needs doubled, we needed to get some support for our designer. So it really kind of grows out of necessity. I wouldn't say that I sit at the beginning of the year with the CEO and design the perfect org chart. It really hasn't happened that way. And, in many ways, we're still very much a startup. So yeah, but in terms of hiring, it's always, just driven by demand. And sometimes even driven by forecast demand. So this year we're doing a bunch of product launches in the second half. And so we hired a little bit to get ahead of that because we knew it was just going to be a massive amount of work.
That sounds totally reasonable, because something that no company would want happening is over hiring and then having to just spend a bigger budget on the workforce you have and not be able to spend it on things you really actually need. So very wise, very wise. And do you have any experiments that you have done, Aaron, that you feel have failed or not been as successful as you expected? And any learnings from that?
So many. Our culture is so experiment driven, especially with respect to incrementality testing. So, like I said, everything we can, we measure. I'm a huge believer in incrementality testing. We run it through house, which I think is best in breed. And we won't launch a new channel without testing it via geolift test, if we can do a geolift. So, there's so many channels that we tested that didn't work. There were also, at one point, because I was such an advocate of this test and learn, we were running 25, 30 marketing channels. And so thankfully we've used house to cut those down based on whether or not they're incremental. But so branded paid search. It wasn't really an experiment, but we ran an experiment on it. It didn't really work for us. Snapchat we've been running for a while. It wasn't really all that incremental. We shut it off. A bunch of display we tested, not incremental. We shut it off. So there have been lots of, what I would say were experiment failures, but huge learnings that benefited us from, certainly a marketing efficiency ratio standpoint.
Okay.
Lots of
amazing.
Failed experiments.
It's curious to me that you guys try to entered Snapchat with marketing, and it being a baby toddler consumer brand. It's kind of weird because I felt Snapchat was dying down a bit. Would I be correct in that, or did you guys?
Yeah, this was a couple years ago. So it was when Snapchat was still growing pretty quickly.
Okay.
And, I believed all of their docs that 30% of users were, over 20 years old, over 25 years old, even, I think, at the time. And so we were happy to experiment and run a little bit. And it looked, all of our marketing actually looked really good in platform.
Okay.
All marketing looks good in platform, but it really looked way better on Snapchat than even on Pinterest, which is, much more traditionally probably associated with the baby having process. So it looked amazing in platform, but when we ran incrementality, it wasn't incremental at all.
Okay. And talking about best practices that you've had, what do you think are the fundamentals that everybody, when talking about marketing, and if you want to be more specific to the toddler space, what do you think everybody should be getting right?
Yeah. So, there's so many, but making sure that your customer is the hero of the story, making sure that you're thinking of them as the hero of every ad, and that it's not just it's them that are the hero. I'm a big believer in that approach to advertising in general. So that's kind of one of our hardcore philosophies. We're not saving the mom; it's the mom that's the hero in this scenario, or the future mom, typically for us in pregnant women. So that's just kind of like our overall ethos, and making sure that all of our designs make sense. Another fundamental is just making sure that we are taking into account whatever data is available. Let's, if there's data available, let's look at it. Let's make sure we're not ignoring anything. Let's make sure we're reevaluating our assumptions. So, especially in this day and age where all of the big ad platforms are rolling out AI-driven tools, retest them, because the algorithms change all the time and things need to be retested. And what worked last year probably doesn't work anymore. So
what do you think are, because that was exactly like my next question, what do you think are the best practices that are outdated already? Since you mentioned that some things from last year aren't working anymore, like what would be an example of that?
The classic one, and this isn't even last year, this is probably 2 years ago, but brand paid search, right? So everyone thought you have to defend your brand on Google, don't let your competitors steal your traffic, all of that. And that might be true for some kind of smaller brands without much market share that are just entering the market. But if you're a bigger brand or have more dominant market share, branded paid search isn't going to be incremental at all for you. And you don't need to spend that money. You're just handing over a text to Google for no reason at all. So that's kind of like one of the conventional wisdoms that we at least proved very wrong for us. And again, it's not true for every brand. For some brands, brand search is very incremental still. So it needs to be tested. But that's certainly one of the conventional wisdoms that didn't work for us at all.
Okay. And I also heard you, Aaron, mention AI, which is probably the hottest trending topic of the moment since a while ago now. But could you specify or explain to us how you guys are thinking of using AI, or if you're using it avidly right now, what would be the process that you have in place?
Yeah, so it's such a broad term, and it's such marketing jump speak at this point in time. But there's a couple different areas where we use AI pretty regularly or test it. So all the ad platforms have their AI tools, whether it's Facebook ASC or Google PMax or whatever. We tested all of them pretty extensively, and if they work on an incrementality tested basis, then we use them. If not. So in the beginning, PMax was showing pretty good incrementality for us, so we leaned in very heavily, probably too heavily. And then we just retested, and it's no longer more incremental than shopping. So we actually pivoted back to Google Shopping. Facebook ASC works for us in some tactics, not in others. So, the AI tools, sometimes they work, sometimes not on the ad platform side. In terms of other things, we use an LLM for our chatbot. That was a huge unlock and dramatically reduced the cost of our on-site chatbot and customer service. So that was a great win. And then we're testing very heavily into Gen AI for our creative needs. Some things it's great at, some things it's terrible at. Don't ask it to make an image of a mom holding a baby. The baby will not look like a human baby. But it's getting there. It's getting there. And there are some new tools which are amazing. I was just at TikTok yesterday and they were demoing Symphony, their AI ad creation tool. And it's pretty good. I mean, shockingly good. So that's one of those ones where, and I saw some of the ads that some of my peers had created using it, and they were incredible. I mean, you would never be able to tell. The mouth matches the words, which is kind of the first that it has.
Wow. Okay. No, but it's just that AI is getting even better by the minute every single day. And and you having it pronounce the words is going to make it not weird watching an AI persona read a script, because it's happened to me with e-learnings, with anything you see online that you're kind of able to tell apart.
Yeah.
Probably not your grandparents when they see Instagram or something that they send you a video like, hey, what's happening? And it's so funny that they fell for it. But I totally get that.
The coolest thing I saw, the guy who actually, I think, I don't know, maybe he's the head of their AI labs or whatever, he made a video using himself as the avatar of translations and him speaking the translations in the other languages, and his mouth matches very well, the same thing in Italian and Spanish. It was incredible. It was really cool. Yeah. And I'm sure they cherry picked and maybe they cheated out. I don't know. But it was awesome. It was shocking.
Wow. And Aaron, I have another question that it came to the top of my head right now, but how does a brand like Newton Baby compete against legacy baby brands that have, 50 plus years of presence in the market?
Yeah. So, it's an interesting question, because we were really, and I mean, to some degree still are, the only D2C player in the space. Mm-hmm. And we were really built in the online era, whereas many of them weren't. And frankly, it was a huge advantage at various points. Our D2C is our biggest channel, and all of them are still struggling to stand up D2C. B, as brick and mortar baby stores went out of business and they're now all gone. That really hurt the other players, and obviously didn't hurt us as much because we didn't really have much of a brick and mortar presence at all. So, I think it's actually helped us more than hurt us. It's allowed us to scale advertising where we spend more online, I think, than any of our competitors by far, by big multiples. So maybe they still spend, but it's on traditional media. Some of them spend more on Google search now, but they just don't have anywhere near the budget or sophistication that we've built up by being a digital native. So I think it's probably helped us on average.
Okay. Now, and I understand. I imagine Newton Baby has been or was at the forefront of the dawn of e-commerce, and these companies that were so old school, so mainstream and used to that old method of ways. I think it's been harder for them to adapt, but so nice that you guys have been able to just go with the flow as you started. And just another question, because this is such a curious company. When I read you guys, I was super interested because I saw you were leading the market. And do you have a different approach to marketing when talking about, let's say, millennial parents versus Gen Z parents? Do you do those groups differently, or just treat everybody the same?
We do. So, there's been a couple big trends. First and foremost, we want to make sure that we are wherever they want to shop. So some brands won't go to Amazon. We went to Amazon early because it was clear people want to shop on Amazon. And I mean, I for a long time now, I'm just trying to shop less on Amazon, but for a long time, I was Amazon only. If it wasn't on Amazon, I wasn't buying it. So making sure that you are wherever the person wants to shop. And that's changed a little bit. So right now we're seeing Babylist, which is a big baby registry site and online retailer, take a lot of share. And so we went there early also. And that's a bit of more of a Gen Z shift that we're seeing now, that the newer moms are migrating there en masse. And so making sure that you are wherever the Gen wants to shop is one important way. And then the other way that we really do it is with design. So We're launching a new color line, for example, because there's a generational difference in design aesthetic. And so we want to make sure that we're catering to those. I mean, really, they're really just trends, but this one tends to align with the generational difference a little bit. So things like that, for sure. In terms of how they want to be marketed to, that's another way. So we do very little brand advertising anymore. We do almost all, and like very few official, like formal photo shoots. We're almost all UGC. So that's another way. Like, make sure that you're marketing to them the way that they want to be marketed to you, and they're going to trust, someone they follow a lot more than you as a brand, saying this is why we're great, and that's just the newest generation and the way.
Of course. Now, I imagine you guys taking a bunch of influencer moms and just having them say and give the testimony that, oh my goodness, this mattress is so cool. Watch me wash it. Yep. You can't do that with yours.
Spot on.
Yeah. And Aaron, are you guys excited about any trends that you see upcoming, be it in the business model that you guys have, or even with products that you're thinking about launching or have the idea of?
I mean, we're all over the AI front, and so I love that stuff, especially the Gen AI stuff. I think it's so cool. Half of my team is experimenting with different tools. I think we try out 3 to 4 new tools a week, probably, which is a little crazy. But I've been a little crazy making sure that they're all experimenting and using them where appropriate in their work streams. So that's certainly what I'm a little less excited about. Some of the AI marketing tools like budget optimization or spend allocation. I don't think those tools are yet. But yeah, that's one that I'm pretty excited about.
Cool. Now, it really is. And generative AI, like me, myself, as a normal person, let's just say I use it to create images, illustrations. I've done my thing trying to make videos, but it really is just so, first of all, fun, being able to just get whatever is in your mind and make it a real thing. It helped, what's it called? It helped bridge the worlds between creativity and the actual artist, not taking away from those people who can't do it with their hand, but to us mere mortals, it's amazing that we can use generative AI.
Yeah. I'm no artist either.
Like, I wish I was, but thank God AI is now here. But Aaron, just because since this is a podcast that we have and we will have an audience listening to, do you have any advice for the business to business marketer that's looking to excel in maybe the toddler space or just in the consumer goods market?
I mean, that's a pretty broad question. So much advice. I think it's important to really kind of understand marketing measurement is the one thing that I'd really say is most important. At the end of the day, you need to spend money and you need to know how to spend that money and how to allocate it. So focusing on marketing measurement and attribution especially are really important. If you're a tiny brand, it probably doesn't matter as much. Just spend it all in Meta and you'll be more or less fine. But as you start to scale and become a bigger brand, making sure that you're getting the best return on your spend requires a pretty good knowledge of marketing attribution and incrementality, and making sure you have the tools in place to measure those things appropriately is really key. So I'd say that's like the number one piece of advice.
Okay. Now, that sounds totally logical. And I like how your approach is always based on the metrics and what you see is working in whatever you find as your info or your data, because that's more private to what Newton Baby is. But it does sound amazing. And we really hope that Newton Baby keeps on growing and that you're able to keep on creating such amazing products, because you're solving so many issues and things that, for example, me, myself, I didn't know that was something that parents needed. But just being able to clean your mattress, it's game changing.
Totally. Do you want one? I mean, I want one.
I think I'm gonna have to get a baby first, but once I do, I'll
make sure for your grown-up bed. If you can wash your mattress, wouldn't you wash it?
That's true. No, I live in rental, so I'm just always hopping around the place. But I do not want to know when the last time these mattresses I'm sleeping on were washed.
Even more so. So wouldn't that be cool if you could take the mattress in your Airbnb and like just throw it in the shower and you know you're sleeping on a clean mattress?
No. That is completely true. Like mattress cleanliness. Now I'm not going to be able to sleep well at night.
I know. Sorry, not sorry.
No worries. But everybody, I hope you enjoyed this episode with Aaron. Please go and check out Mutant Baby because you got to check out the products. And if you're a parent whose child was just born, I'm sure you're going to find whatever you're looking for there. And without further ado, please press subscribe before this episode finishes, and we'll see you for the next one. Thank you so much, Aaron, for coming.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.